There is nothing like a cool coconut water on a hot day. Did you know Rooster's coconut water is produced right here in Guyana on the Essequibo coast? Let's find out how. Behind me is where the actual production of the coconut water begins. But first, the coconuts are actually harvested in Pomeroon on a plantation. After they're harvested there and they're selected, they're then transported to the wharf on Charity, where they are collected by trucks and transported here to the factory. Upon arrival here at the factory, the coconuts are then washed and sterilized. After being left in the soap water and bleach solution for an additional 50 minutes, the coconuts are then air dried and packed into trolleys to be brought to the cutting room for their final selection. In the cutting room, everyone is required to wear their safety gears, which includes a breathing mask, a hairnet, and an overall, and a foot bath is required also before entering the room. So let's gear up. In the cutting room, the coconuts are skillfully cut, the water is drained and sent to the filling room, and the rest of the coconuts are disposed of. In the filling room, the filtered coconut water is poured into a bottling tank with an ice wall that also has a filter. From the tank, the coconut water is then poured into 500 milliliter or 2 liter bottles, packaged, and then sent for rapid cooling in an ice bath. After cooling, the bottles are then placed in a freezer for storage. The molding of the bottles for Rooster's coconut water is done right here in factory. Over 10,000 bottles are produced daily. After the bottles are produced, they are then labeled and sterilized using bleach. As you would have seen, Rooster's coconut water is an all-natural coconut water with no additives. Now let's hear from the man himself behind Rooster's, Mr. Ramutar.
My name is Rupan Ramutar, but my nickname, they call me Falcock from a small child. I don't even know how I get the name, but as I grew up, I live up as the Rooster. I live as a rooster and the name remain. So I never liked the name. I make plenty problems with people. I fight, I do everything, whatever. But as I grow, I say this name would have to make some money for me later. And eventually, from a Falcock, I decided to name the coconut water the Rooster coconut water, since I was well known almost across the country.
What year was this established?
The coconut water was established in 2015, basically. When we start.
The idea to start producing coconut water specifically?
Well, basically, I was in mining, and the gold price crashed at, I think it was 2012, and I had the excavators. I purchased some land in Pomeroon to go and do farming, but I wasn't too keen and serious on farming. So after the gold price crash, I didn't know what next to do. So I turned and tell my friends, I'm going and plant gold. So they asked me, how can you plant gold? I said, you would have to look on and see how I can plant gold. So I went in with the excavator into the farm. At first I went in with laborers into the farm, but it was an abundant farm and it started taking too much of money. And I find that I might probably run broken if I continue that way. So I take the excavator and I start making bed and drains into the farm. My manager called me one day and say, what are you doing here? I said, I'm making beds and drains so we can plant the coconut. He said, but you're wasting the land. I said, why you think I'm wasting the land? He said, because you have more drains. You know, half the land would be in drains and half going to be in bed. I said, no. How close can you plant a coconut tree? And he said, you can't put a coconut tree closer than 25 feet. Well, I said, the drain would use for transportation, the drains would use to irrigate, the drain would use for drainage, and the drain would use to mine some fishes. So we end up basically have like about 125 kilometers of trenches in our farm, which I think is one of the most modern coconut farms at this moment in the Caribbean, because I went all around the Caribbean looking at coconut farm. We harvesting coconut now from about half the farm, which we do like about 7,000 coconut on a daily basis.
This is year-round?
Year-round, every day. If you miss one day, you have to double it the next day. We basically process 24 days in a month. So our coconut basically, when we pick them, is that we pick them at a mature stage. So we have consistency in the coconut. The coconut from the age of, let us say, 7 months, if we pick the coconut in 8 months, is that by the time we go around the farm, 1 month finish. So we start back from the other end. So we have consistency in the maturity of our coconut. So coconut, basically the sweetness of coconut, you calculate it by bricks. And the bricks where we do testing here is basically from about 4.5 to about 8. So as you cut those coconut and mix into the tank, you would have about 150 to 200 coconut at a time into the tank. So you have a good blending where you'd actually have a bricks about 6.5. That's the sweetness of the coconut water. The shelf life of the coconut water is all based on hygiene. You have to be very, very clean There's no preservative, there's no additive. Everything is just pure 100% coconut water. At this moment, we export we are around Guyana, and we export to Trinidad. We now gonna get into Barbados and Antigua for the first time, and we in the United States. We are planning to do like about probably 15 containers load per month. That's in the near future, and we are planning to develop other Rooster products, virgin coconut oil, maybe a coconut ice cream, a Rooster coconut ice cream, Rooster pepper sauce, Rooster mango achar, and we are planning to probably have a big establishment here in the very near future with all products that come from Rooster Farm. So we probably basically would be looking for a workforce, say about 200 people in the near future. And we start off very slow, but at this moment, it's picking up so fast that it's beyond my imagination. So everyone looking at the video can trust that you have pure coconut water without any additives in it. And if you never drink Rooster coconut water, I think you should have the opportunity to try it.